Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Charleston. So last night I got in kind of late. It was about 9:30 that my flight got in, and I went straight to my Airbnb, took a shower, went to bed, crashed out. Didn't really get to film much yesterday. It was a lot of kind of rushing with the airport. I got to the airport, had just enough time to kind of grab me some breakfast and then a few minutes to relax before getting on the plane. Flew into Chicago, and I had about an hour and a half to grab something to eat before my connecting flight. I ended up getting a deep dish pizza there. Could only eat half of it, so I saved the other half and brought it with me. And then, like I said, got to the Airbnb late last night, but I got up fairly early this morning, got ready. I took a Lyft to come to the Charleston Visitor Center, which is behind me in this building. They're very, very nice there. They can give you maps and stuff, tell you where to go. So I am going to basically be exploring Charleston and showing all of you everything that you can cram into one day, because I only have one full day here. But we will see what all I can get into today. When I left the Charleston Visitor Center, I started making my way through the downtown Charleston area. This area is very popular with tourists because it is safe, walkable, and very quaint. There's a lot of shops and restaurants in this area that you can check out. The shops range from high-end places like Louis Vuitton to more local mom and pop shops. Even though it was kind of early in the morning, it was already starting to get busy. If you come to the downtown Charleston area, I would suggest arriving early in the morning. By noon, it's already getting busy, and in the afternoon, it gets really busy, and the sidewalks can become pretty crowded. I hadn't had breakfast yet, so I got online and asked around to some people to find a place that I could grab a sit-down breakfast in the downtown Charleston area. I found the Sweetwater Cafe, which is not far from the Charleston Visitor Center. The people that worked there were very friendly. There were plenty of seats for you to sit at, and the food was not pricey at all. I got a typical American breakfast of eggs and bacon, some fruit, and some toast, and I was ready to go for the rest of my day. So I have made it down to the Charleston Waterfront Park. It is so beautiful down here. It is very peaceful. Today the weather, it's like 60 degrees. It's a nice cool breeze. It's not hot. I mean, I'm wearing a very lightweight jacket over a long sleeve t-shirt. But it's just absolutely gorgeous down here. I watched the dolphins for a little bit. Hopefully you can see it in the video. I went and got breakfast on my way down here. I wanted to show all of you the route that I'm taking. So I got this map from the visitor center, and I asked the guy that worked there what the best way to explore Charleston if you only have a day here. So right here is where the actual visitor center is at. He suggested walking down King Street, which is their main street. Come all the way down until you get to Market Street. Then you turn and go to the Charleston City Market. I walked all the way through it. It's about 2 or 3 blocks worth of local artisans selling their different crafts and stuff. I bought some souvenirs there. They have all kinds of souvenirs and locally made items. From there, I walked down to Queen Street right here, and then I walked over to the waterfront park. Now from there, my plan is to walk along the water all the way down here to the Battery, and then from the Battery I'll walk back up King Street and then go all the way back up to the Visitor Center. From there I can get on Carta, which is the bus line, and go back to my Airbnb. Seeing as how I walked all the way down here in a very short amount of time, I mean, I was going at a very casual pace. It did not take long at all, probably about 30 minutes to walk down through here. I know it looks like a very long walk, but from the Visitor Center all the way down here to the Battery is only about 1.5 miles. So if I'm coming down, cut over, go around and back up, you're looking at about a 3.5 mile walk, which is not bad. And you can do that easily in, a few hours, have some breakfast, have some lunch, and get to see a lot of Charleston in less than a day. This area right through here is the French Quarter. There is a lot of historic stuff in this area. Down here at the bottom of the map, everything here in red are various museums, and then everything here in orange are the various religious buildings, churches, synagogues, temples, that sort of thing. And they're all primarily in this area, so you can walk around and really see a lot in this area. I will say that the walk, although it's very quick, very easy, if you have trouble getting around, it might be a little difficult. The reason why is some of the streets are cobblestone streets, some of them are kind of like cut out slabs of, I don't know, stone. And so a lot of the streets in time have kind of buckled up, and if you're not paying attention when you're walking, you could trip over one of those stones that is actually sticking up. If you're in a wheelchair, it might be a little difficult. You might have to have someone push you, but it is a very nice walk. They do have carriages here, horse-drawn carriages, if that is an option that you want to take. They do have, I believe it's the Uber Lime bikes, where you can basically rent a bicycle for a day and drive that around if you don't feel like walking. And of course you do have the bus. If you want to drive, there are various parking garages and street parking. However, while I was eating breakfast, there was a woman sitting behind me talking to the waitress, and she said that there was like a limit on the street parking for like 2 hours, and the woman was telling her where she could park for longer. So you would have to do your research and find a good place to park if you are driving here. Obviously there is a lot more to Charleston, but since I am only here for a day, I am trying to cram in the more popular areas and see as much as I can without getting too tired, because this is only the second day of this trip. I am going to do a ton of walking on this trip, and I don't want to burn out in the beginning. But it is very beautiful here. It's a nice mixture of palm trees and then the old, I don't even know what kind of trees they are, but they're really beautiful. And just a lot of wildlife. As you can hear, there are birds everywhere, but it's a really nice place to visit. There are a lot of beaches nearby. I believe Foley Beach is not too far away. Myrtle Beach is not too far away. And I wish that I could stay longer, and I will probably come back and check those areas out. But for this trip, I'm only really getting one good day to explore. So I am going to make my trek down to the Battery and see what I can find along the way. You leave the pier at Queen Street. You make your way through a very pretty park where there are families out with their dogs walking around for an early morning stroll, and you make your way over to Charleston's famous pineapple fountain. Since it was spring, they didn't have any water in the fountain, but it's still a great place to stop and take some pictures. Not far from there is the row of painted houses. This is also a famous landmark in Charleston. Because there is a lot of traffic there and the parked cars, I suggest waiting on the red light to change to end up getting the best picture of all of the houses together. Now, if you notice, as I'm walking, there are a lot of groups of tourists doing walking tours. Charleston is a wonderful place if you like doing walking tours. They were everywhere. The sidewalks were really crowded. If you notice up ahead, there's yet another totally different walking tour. The weather here in Charleston is great, and people take advantage of it by visiting all of the amazing historical sites that Charleston has to offer. Once you get down to the actual water, one thing that I wanted to note is there are no bathrooms around. This is a more residential area as you're walking along the water. The architecture of the buildings is great to look at, and you do have stairs that periodically go down to the street level. That way, if you wanted to walk on into the city, you could. But it is one thing for you to note that there are no restrooms along the way to the Battery. The Battery is a large park at the very south end of Charleston. It's a very calm and peaceful area with tons of trees, and it has a lot of statues and cannons and historical markers that talk about the Civil War in this area. It's a wonderful place to take pictures, and I saw a lot of people out running. They probably lap the park because it's several blocks long, but I recommend if you're in Charleston to make your way down to the Battery and check out everything that is in the park. So I am at Marion Square, which is a park kind of in the center of Charleston. Swing the camera around where you can kind of see. It's a nice little open park. Got some trees lining so you can sit in the shade, but some pretty interesting buildings nearby. But it's very quiet here, very relaxing. The weather is amazing. Like I said earlier, it's kind of a cool breeze, so it's not cold. It's very sunny today. I got very lucky because tomorrow it's supposed to rain here. But I will be on the train tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about it. The visitor center is about 2 to 3 blocks away from here. So I figure I'll go back to the visitor center and then get on the bus and start making my way back to my Airbnb. Now, my Airbnb is in North Charleston, and I knew I would come down to Charleston and visit this area, and I thought about staying in this area. However, in North Charleston, where the Airbnb is, it's just like a 10 to 15 minute drive to the airport, and then I can actually walk to the train station. So for me, I thought that was a little more convenient. Yeah, I had to get a lift to come to Charleston, to this area, and I'll be taking public transit back. But since that's just a one-time deal, that's better than having to, pay for extra rides. Now, I will say, little tip for you. When you get here, you have options. You can obviously rent a car if you wanted to, but if you wanted, you could do public transit, or you could do either a taxi or rideshare. Now, since I got in late last night, I didn't want to wait on public transit, so I was looking for a rideshare. Because even though I was at the airport, I did not see any taxis nearby. I saw car services, but those are expensive. So I got onto the Uber app and the Lyft app, and the prices between the two vary a lot. I'm talking, when I checked them, it was a $20 difference. So if you come here and you do rideshare, check both apps. This morning, when I first got up, I checked to see how much it would cost to come down here to Charleston. And it was expensive. Like, we're talking, anywhere from $40 to $70 between the two apps. However, on Lyft, they did have an option where you can request the ride later and you save money. So what I did is I got up, I got dressed, I got all of my stuff situated, and then when I started to do my makeup, I went ahead and requested the ride, and it was going to be like 45 minutes. I was trying to time it to where I would be ready to go, but I wouldn't have to wait too long. So I did the ride early, and the time worked out pretty good, and I ended up saving $30-something by doing that. So I'm sure other places you will probably run into the same situation. So always check, if you're going to do rideshare, check both apps, both Uber and Lyft, and then if there is the option to request the ride early, or technically later, then do that. You could save a lot of money. When I came down here and went to the visitor center, I bought a day pass for the bus. It's unlimited rides, and it's like $7, I think, which is not bad, but you get like a little one-day pass to ride the bus. I'll probably just ride it the one time. You can actually get on the bus and just pay cash, but I wanted to get the little card just in case I decide to ride more, It is still early. I got down here into Charleston, let me see, I got here at 9:30. I walked a little bit, got breakfast, did all the other walking. I just now stopped and got some tea to have something to drink, and right now it is 12:52, and I sat in the tea place drinking for probably a good 10 to 15 minutes. So you're looking at like 4 hours to completely walk all of the important areas. Now, there are stores everywhere. There are restaurants everywhere. If you wanted to shop down here, yeah, you can spend all day down here. I only bought some souvenirs in the market center and didn't really go into any other stores because I can shop anytime. I usually don't shop when I travel. I usually will only purchase souvenirs. And I probably will do a video on different types of souvenirs that you might want to get that don't take up a lot of room in your luggage and also don't break the bank. So I might shoot that video in the future. But yeah, so I managed to, I mean, it's, you know, almost 1 o'clock and I've already completed my day. I could explore more, but like I said, this is the first full day of this trip and I'm going to be walking every single day almost, and I don't want to burn myself out. So I will probably head back to North Charleston to the area where the Airbnb is and probably walk around that area. It's very quaint in that area and there are various shops and stuff there. And then I also kind of want to check out the train station since I have to be there fairly early tomorrow. So I kind of want to get the lay of the land and know where I'm supposed to go. But right now, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy this beautiful weather for a while before heading back.